Good morning, beautiful spirit. Welcome back to the channel. Director Arundel here with Able Spirit to Me, and I am Able. Aum. Soham Hansaha Swaha. We are on chapter 9 on the book, On the Path, an energetic approach to enlightenment. This is just the last chapter regarding where we're going to close up a full discussion of the energy work and how it works with Kundalini and clearing your chakras and basically changing your whole life. It's a short chapter, but we'll dive right in. Final thoughts and warnings. I believe truly that these techniques will launch you into a Kundalini awakening, as well as genuine spiritual experiences. If you are not ready for these experiences, they can be a lot to handle. Holding more energy than you are prepared for is a good example. You may feel an uncontrollable shaking of the body and many other energy-related symptoms. In all seriousness, you are toiling with some very strong forces. Now, the one who discovered the secret of focusing the energy from emotions gives the following further warnings. Energy becomes so powerful that it can manifest painfully and physically. We've already covered that. The emotions and physical sensations are how you become more connected to the universe. Pain is actually expected, and pain-killing medication is another large energy blocker. The pain is what causes a breakthrough, and when it's unbearable, that is when the breakthrough occurs. It is more painful than you can imagine and feels like dying, and the pain is how connection works. Pain is communication with Source. Love is sacrifice. You must endure the pain in order to be blessed with the power. And unlimited pain equals unlimited power. Now, I will just point out that this particular master is a little bit extreme over the top when it comes to explanations of things, which is why I wrote this book. The whole idea came from this person. However, it doesn't mean that I believe everything this person said. Have I experienced this type of pain? I have not. No, I have not. This person chose to focus all the energy, every single day, every emotion, everything, into the head, into the brain. And this person started to get headaches that were really, 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 really painful. And then, all of a sudden, boom, he had the Kundalini awakening. And from that point on, he changed. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But my point is, he focused on a chakra that is relatively sensitive. Your third eye, it it does start to hurt if you put too much pressure in your brain. So just choose wisely. And most people can't focus the energy that well in order to cause an extreme pressure. He did, and he got the result from it. A lot of times, I would recommend focusing in your sacral chakra or your Muladhara, which is your root chakra. Those chakras can store a lot of energy, and they create bliss in your body, and they make you happy. So, I'm going to give a plug to Tara Springett's book in a minute. Let's just keep reading, okay? These warnings are obviously not to be taken lightly. You can have trouble with psychological issues like subconscious thoughts and fears becoming manifest. You can have issues with lower nature aspects coming on stronger than you ever imagined. You can have shaking and tingling in the body and physical pain as energy flows through you and literally burns out the impurities in your chakras. The impurities are karma that is due to your ego's attachment and aversion to Maya. In this process, you feel like dying because your ego is dying. You are really breaking the ego system in every sense of the phrase, and this is a real and serious undertaking. So, I wanted to get through that paragraph to point out that this other master, he had a lot of very, very, very strong ego. Things that he thought were the end-all, be-all, this is the truth of everything, and I don't care what anyone says, nothing is going to tell me otherwise. And he had to break through that, literally. And it was very painful. And it was it was the journey that he needed to get through, because now his ego isn't there anymore. And it's interesting because he was not a very pleasant person to be around, and now he's completely changed. So anyway, the point is, if you work on your karma in the practices from the daily practice chapter and meditation, like I've written, you don't have to worry about this kind of pain. You're undoing your karma slowly, and then your Kundalini awakens, and it's not as disruptive as this experience that you're seeing here. So let's talk about meditation. You may find that you have lost time in meditation. In other words, you may begin meditating and remain there for an unexpected long time. You may begin to react to situations in unexpected ways and even begin to wonder if you are losing it. You may have visions and hear things that make you think you're hallucinating. You could even randomly go into meditation or trance when you're not expecting it just by chanting a mantra. So, warning, do not chant while operating heavy machinery. That's no joke, you guys. When I got my guru mantra from my guru, from Shaktipat, they actually said not to do any heavy machinery while chanting or drive while chanting because you might space out while you're driving. So you may have true interactions with beings that no one else can recognize. All of these are real possibilities. These experiences are all part of our evolution and results of deeper connections to our other bodies, holding more energy and power, and connecting with the super consciousness. You should not practice these techniques if you do not really seek enlightenment and the full bag of experiences that come with it before the breakthrough. So again, after the breakthrough, boom, job well done. Until then, you're working. You're working to achieve karma cleansing and kundalini activation, etc. Now, additionally, kundalini will force you to feel deeper emotions and reactions to feelings than you typically allow yourself to acknowledge. You may find it more difficult to keep your cool in situations, and this can be quite unexpected. I actually had to change careers because I discovered that I could not pretend to be happy doing what I had trained to do. And I mean a lot of training, guys. I was in college for 9 years. It's a lot of school. So Kundalini forces you to be more honest and truthful to others and yourself. You will have no choice and ultimately will suffer if you do not seek solutions to what is making you unhappy. You'll be forced to realize, as I had, what you are doing to create your unhappiness. I'm going to say that sentence again because I stuttered and I also think it's important. You'll be forced to realize, as I had, what you are doing to create your own unhappiness. So, it is for all these reasons that some of these techniques and ideas were kept hidden for so long by religious gurus and teachers. It was advised that you had a guru or spiritual teacher to guide you through these experiences. Additionally, you cannot undo a Kundalini activation. It is ongoing and for life. It is the fastest and most direct path to enlightenment. And that's because you no longer have a choice. It's akin to choosing to see other things with your third eye or not. Once you do begin to see them, you will continue to. So please consider your motives, current habits, and denials before using these techniques. If you still want to find happiness with material pleasures, you do not want to break the ego. So again, if you enjoy going to the bar, you enjoy going out to eat at fancy restaurants, you enjoy smoking, drinking, and I mean all of you, not just part of you, but if all of you, if your whole being enjoys it, there's no point in doing these practices. But if part of you feels like you shouldn't be doing those things anymore and it's time to give them up, then you're ready. So if you're afraid of pain and difficult realizations, you are not yet ready. Now, I am not a guru, and I cannot guarantee that I will have an answer for an experience that you may have. When I wrote this book, I was much further behind on my path. Now that I am on my path, pretty far along, I can answer most questions. Now, there is also very little out there about what to do after you activate Kundalini. How do you become enlightened? There's only one opinion that I have read so far, and that is once again of Tara Springett in the book Enlightenment Through the Path of Kundalini. In that book, she very acutely describes a balance between Kundalini and love as the ultimate state of enlightenment. She also describes it as a balance between the upper and lower chakras. Basically, it's like a vibration going back and forth between extreme bliss in one's own power and the desire to love and help everyone else and include them in your own influence of paradise as a manifested deity. So again, I'm getting these descriptions from her book. Her opinion on Kundalini activation is a lot more pleasant than the one I have described as well. Once again, she tells you how to work through your karma and blockages much like my techniques do in your daily practice, whereas this other master went straight for pressurizing and boom, going through it the hard way. So, her methods are more focused on activating your chakras by deep relaxation, focusing on blissful sensations, and devotion to a deity. I agree, they're great. Now, if you're going to work on any of the practices I've described, I highly recommend reading her book before you progress too far so that you know if you are ready. She believes that believing in a higher power is very much necessary for Kundalini activation and also to help cope with the many experiences that you may encounter after it is activated. And this is one reason why you always have to have a guru or some kind of teacher to look up to. You will have questions, and you need to have answers. And personally, I have no problem looking for my own answers in spiritual literature and Googling and just finding information out there on the web, YouTube, etc. But it is nice to have someone that you know can answer your questions. Okay. So, finally, her opinion is from a Buddhist perspective and suggests that embodying the essence or even superconsciousness of the deity is a pivotal part of enlightenment. Therefore, I again think that reading her book is a good idea before jumping into this goal head first. So once again, now that I'm further along on my path, I too believe that embodying the superconsciousness is our goal. Now, the state of enlightenment is very debatable because most of us don't really know what it is. Most assuredly, there is a certain level of trust and faith involved. Even the person who discovered these techniques went from a true atheist to a deep, profound believer in Jesus Christ after his ego was broken. I cannot pretend to have all the answers yet, since I am also still working to break my ego system. As we know, this is an ongoing task and may take a whole lifetime or more to accomplish. We must work through our energy-draining habits until the breakthrough moment happens by grace or hard work. If you are certain that you are ready for this life-changing event, then jump wholeheartedly into the practices. Your increased connection with Source begins to satisfy your desires more than material things, since your special blissful sense becomes active when you reconnect with Source. This happens permanently when you're completely enlightened. However, before that, you naturally and slowly begin to lose attraction for physical things. You can't really fake this. I compare it to no longer enjoying something you enjoyed when you were younger. You simply outgrow it. Another practitioner called Elatam Elamin said he became allergic to things. Maybe you used to enjoy candy, but no longer do. You do have to be disciplined with the practices long enough to accomplish the goal, but don't beat yourself up when you choose to enjoy a material pleasure. Just continue with the practices. Things will happen just the way they are supposed to, right when they are supposed to. Now, I find it extremely helpful to simply dedicate or sacrifice the indulgence to God. Imagine that God is enjoying the experience through you, and this is an aspect of devotional service. I don't always remember that, but if I'm going to do something that I really think I shouldn't be doing and I enjoy it too much, I always like to say, okay, I admit I'm going to indulge. Thank you for this pleasure. Hope you enjoy it through me, etc. Now, with the practices, your life will begin changing immediately, and I mean that. Very quickly. Material pleasures will continue to tempt you because more and more material things will automatically come into your life. It is sort of the final test. Once you decide that you have no more temptation, then temptation comes easier than ever. Additionally, before I finish this last sentence, you're going to find that you no longer have any excuses. I used to say things like stress was making me do this, fatigue was making me do this, and further along my path I realized that there was no point, there was no excuse whatsoever. I was choosing to do every single thing that I was doing. It's a painful realization. So additionally, when you begin building energy, you may find that you need less sleep. You have more energy during the day, you are more creative, you feel inclined to work on projects, you invent things or have new innovations, you have much more vivid dreams, and that your perceptions of the world around you have changed. It is hard to describe other than saying you have, snap out of it, moments where you simply become very present and see the world and life as a wonderful thing right then in that moment exactly like it is. You can take this as a very good sign of progress, in my opinion. Okay, that's the last chapter. I'm going to do one more video summing everything up, and thank you for joining me. Have a great day. You know I will. Bye.